Hello, today we're at the RHS Sandringham Flower Show and I've been given the privilege today to have a look at the special feature garden, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and King Seeds. Well, it's a beautiful summer's day and I'm sitting on this fantastic seat here that we're going to find out a little bit more about in a minute in the RHS Royal Legacy Garden, which has been designed by Catherine McDonald, and it's absolutely beautiful, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
You've really done an amazing job. It's every corner you go around, there's something beautiful to look at, and this is a very special garden, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it was designed in collaboration with His Majesty. So it was an amazing garden to be invited to design, and to have that collaborative process with His Majesty was really wonderful and quite a privilege.
So how long has it been in the planning?
Well, my first meeting with His Majesty was the 5th of January, so it's my first meeting of the year here at Sandringham.
Right, and he's been quite involved, hasn't he? It's quite a lot of it, what's in the garden are from his ideas.
Yes, because we know he's very passionate about our industry, about the environment and about trees, which is why we've got so many different varieties here in the garden. So yes, there's quite a few things that have been influenced by his interests.
Yes, and he loves colour as well, doesn't he? I mean, it's interesting. I think delphiniums are one of his favourite flowers, and there are some beautiful delphiniums there. He does love the colour in the garden.
He does. That was one of the requests for a bold, colourful planting scheme. I gave a couple of options, and the one chosen was what we have here: the yellows, purples and reds with a touch of white.
And the trees play quite an important role in the garden, don't they? Because it's I think every garden should have trees in it for the shade, but you're using some trees that are probably going to be trees for the future, with the changing climate.
We chose the trees with tree diversity in mind, actually. So we have a border or a bed that's got native trees in it, because it's still important to support our native organisms and biodiversity. But yes, we've got a number of trees that would be more climate resilient, and we're moving probably towards the hottest bed where we are now, with a couple of Lagostromia varieties, and then the Arbutus behind us.
Yeah, which is a beautiful specimen, isn't it? And
really
they're really tough, aren't they? We always think of them looking a little bit tender, but they're tough. They'll cope with the cold, they'll cope with the dry. We get beautiful flowers and the berries, and they're evergreen. So what isn't
quite a special tree?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And I think there were some dwarfiforms being developed as well.
Yes, and different bark as well.
Yes, that lovely cinnamon-coloured bark. I noticed also you've got some parotia, which is again a beautiful tree, but you don't often see them in a garden. But I love what you've done with one. You've cloud pruned it so that it would make it suitable for a smaller space.
Well, I have to say that's Deepdale who's done that in the trees, not me myself. But yes, we're trying to show different forms of trees. So we have Parotia persica as a multi-stem, and as you said, the pruned option. But some little stories, as it's an RHS feature garden, are talking about things in horticulture you can do. So we've got the pruning, the shaping, but also plant breeding. So one of the Parotias in there, the one with the redder leaves, is Parotia persica vanessa.
Right, okay.
And then we have things like Gladitsia skyline, that's a lovely, delicate multi-stem, and then next to us here we have Gladitsia ruby lace. So it's varieties of sometimes the same species of tree.
Yeah, I mean the planting is beautiful as well, because you've got the different layers. I mean that's what you do for a job. You're a garden designer, and you've done this beautifully. We touched on this seat that we're sitting on. This is amazing. I'm going to just stand up so Jill can see it. So tell us about this, because this is willow, isn't it?
It is, and it was designed and woven by King's Foundation alumna Alice Hemery for this garden. We had a conversation about what the design of the garden was going to be, and she was inspired by the same sort of thing as the layout of the garden, which is patterns in nature, and she's taken infinity in ever-ending fractals, and that's inspired the bench.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
And it was quite fortuitous when it came. We've got the dark colour. I knew she was going to be weaving in different colour willows, but that sits where I've got the dark planting, and this end sits where we have the light.
It's perfect, isn't it?
I'd love to say I planned it, but it was,
But yes, with the red grass there and the echinacea, it just flows through into it beautifully, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can we have a little wander around and look at some of the other features in the garden? I love the layout because it's got lots of little paths that take you on a journey. So where did the inspiration come from?
Well, the first conversation about the garden and what it might be influenced by that I had with His Majesty, we talked about patterns in nature. We know from his book Harmony that he's very interested in that, and then we have things like the Venus garden that's at Windsor Castle.
Yes.
And so I did some options for the next meeting, so different ideas, and the one that was chosen was this layout. I've developed it, and it's based on branching patterns in nature.
Right.
So what you see, trees that branch off. I also looked at aerial photos of the salt marshes and coastline of Norfolk, and then it's sort of something that if you were above it, you would see those branches. And I've tried to continue then that idea of those branching patterns in the details in the paths. So here we've got limestone, that's a British stone that I actually had on my garden at Chelsea, and we have brought along, supported by Boodles, allowed us to do this, to bring it along and repurposed and reshaped. And if you stand here, hopefully you would get the impression of the canopy of a tree, or maybe an estuary and sort of
for an aerial view. And then the stone, this really, you see a lot of this in Norfolk, this stone. Is it an ironstone?
Yes, it's cast stone. And His Majesty was quite keen to include some local material, and this comes from a quarry in Snettisham, about 10 minutes down the road, and it was supplied by Mick George, who's a royal warrant holder and who has done a lot of work in Sandringham Gardens on the rockery.
Right.
So he's come along with some of his team, and we have the plastic, and I liked the contrast with the lighter colour, and also to have another British material. But yes, it sort of then leads through. We've got boulders as pausing points on the gardens.
Yeah, and it's local as well, because you see it on lots of the cottages, this part of Norfolk, and on the estate they've got brick, but then the infill is smaller pieces of this. So I take it it's quite a hard, robust material.
Yes, it's used actually on the church that's behind us. You can see it fades to a brown colour over time.
Okay.
So yeah, it's used quite a lot.
Yes, and then if we wander through, I mean, you've got this amazing centrepiece with this yew here into a dome. I mean, that is brilliant.
That was also seen at Chelsea.
Right,
it's come along, and that will also be in the relocated garden.
Right, yes, because this is not just going to be dismantled and taken away. It's going to be rebuilt. Is it here at Sandringham?
It will be in Sandringham Gardens, but in a new design.
Right.
Yeah, that's quite exciting that these trees and these plants are going to be reused in the gardens.
It is brilliant, it really is, and all these little paths are wonderful to walk through, and it all works well with the willow edging as well. It is just got a lovely natural, it's a place you just want to sit and think, and you can forget about everything.
Well, I'm glad you feel like that. We've had some really lovely comments from the public. They particularly sort of like the fact, I think, that you can't see in completely everywhere from the outside.
Yes.
And I've designed it in that way to have some height and some bits where you can't see in, and then that hopefully encourages people to want to walk through and see a little bit more.
It would be great for children as well on these paths, wouldn't it? They would absolutely love it. So I've got to ask the question, the King's obviously been to see it. What did he think?
Well, I think His Majesty is pleased that the public are enjoying it and have found the bold and colourful planting interesting, and I think will take some ideas home themselves and maybe recreate in their garden.
I'm sure lots. I mean, I've loved some of your planting combinations, and I'm thinking of revamping a few borders. So I'm pinching ideas from you.
I suppose a show garden gives you that chance to try a few things that you don't always get to do.
Yeah.
So even for me, I've thought, we'll try some stuff together, and I've worked with my colleagues, like the Landform team that were doing the planting, and we just tried some interesting combinations, and I think that works quite well.
Exactly, because gardens are very personal. You can do whatever you want in a garden, can't you? It's beautiful. Thank you for explaining it and showing me around, Catherine, and I'm sure today's going to be a busy day. You'll get lots and lots of people through.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed an insight into this amazing show feature that's been designed by Catherine and constructed by Gadd Brothers Trees and Shrubs. It really is beautiful, and some amazing planting combinations there, some of which I'm going to have a go at home. We'll be back again with you in the garden next week, so we'll see you then. Bye.